Yo, what's happening everybody, KingGBL here, welcome back to a brand new video. Today I'm going to be showcasing a very strong team in the Fossil Cup, which I like to think of as an anti-RPS team. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you nothing but bad leads for this team. I think I might show one or maybe two good leads, but apart from that, every single lead that I'm showing in this video will be a bad lead, a negative team composition for this one. With this team, how I play it, I'm able to either get energy lead with Berserker in the lead, or I'm able to flip swap with certain Pokemon. So basically matchups that should be complete RPS, I'm able to overcome them, get the wins, and we're going to showcase and break down everything here today. We're going to hop straight into the battles here today. Drop a like in the video, subscribe to the channel. In game 1 here, we had a terrible lead in Gastrodon, but if you look at what I've done here, I've got all shields down, right? I'm running double nukes on this basically, Trailblaze and close combat. As you can see here, we're actually able to get all shields down, get the Trailblaze off on the Gastrodon, and now we're in a really good position. We take this out, the opponent's got 2 Pokemon remaining, and all of a sudden, a really terrible lead is looking quite positive for me here. The opponent comes back into Golisopod. Now, Berserker actually beats Golisopod at CMP, so we can feel free to basically go for this move right away. And in the back, the opponent has this annoying spider. We should be in a very good position to win this game. We get off the Trailblaze, it does about 50% of their health, including the Shadow Claws, and at this point, we can come in with Gastrodon. This is a very negative matchup for Gastrodon, but because we've put so much chip into this thing, it should basically be fine. I think I just need 2 body slams here to take this out. We're going to get this off before the opponent goes for a debuff. It is actually kind of looking close, but as you guys know, Mud Slap is such a busted move that even against resisted things, it still does a lot of damage. The opponent basically concedes the match, and that's good games well played. So if you look at it on paper, Gastro into Berserker, Shadow Claw into Jellicent, and then a Bug type in the back, which resists Mud Slap. That should have been a loss, but we were able to overcome it. In the next battle here, this is a somewhat neutral lead. The opponent goes for a crunch. I do tend to respect these crunches here, and the opponent goes for a catch. I'm really happy with this, because Berserker does super well into Mantine. So we're actually going to go ahead and stay in here. I'm going to build up to almost back-to-back moves. If the opponent's on Ice Beam, we resist everything. Typically, they should be on Water Pulse. We're going to go for this move on CMP tie right here, and we'll see what the opponent wants to do. I can put my Gastrodon on the opponent's Steelix. Very RPS matchup in my favour, and you would think with Steelix lead, they should have something that's probably quite weak to the Jellicent in the back. So we're just basically avoiding that matchup. The opponent's got a shield up. We're going to get the shield back down now very quickly. Close combat would be looking to one-shot here. Of course, the opponent will respect that move, and we're going to come into Gastrodon here and start slapping it down. In this matchup, we could take an Earthquake if the opponent has it. They're going to go for Psychic Fangs here, and the opponent comes into Golisopod. Now, even though Golisopod has Shadow Claw, this is a very positive matchup for Jellicent in the Zero Shield. We can take 2 of their moves pretty easily, and yeah, it's a pretty decent matchup. Lucario lead. They actually stand to go for Thunder Punch. It's 4 for Thunder Punch, it is 6 for the Shadow Ball. If they go to Shadow Ball, we have to respect it. They do go for a catch and Gyarados of all things, but we do anticipate the swap out here. Go for the Shadow Ball and the Gyarados. Now, I could look to flip swap here. I'm going to go for a Surf before the opponent gets off an Aqua Tail or a Crunch, and we'll look to try and flip alignment here. If the opponent comes back into Lucario, because we double resist the Force Palm, even though this is a really attack-weighted Pokemon, we still just about make the move here on our last bit of health. We're going to get off the Surf. This would look to KO the Lucario from this range, and the opponent respects it. Now at this point, we come into Gastrodon. I don't think the opponent's built up to a Shadow Ball here, so we let this move go. They go for Thunder Punch, which is single resisted, come into their own Jellicent. Once again guys, very terrible lead, but because we were able to get an advantage in the mid-game, we're now in a very strong position. So yeah, just to kind of talk about the team a little bit. The cool thing about these Pokemon is, I think all 3 of them are basically anti-RPS, in a way. Berserker has Trailblaze, which is good against the Mud Boys. I'm going to be actually showcasing a team with Berserker plus another Steel type in tomorrow's video, so stay tuned for that. But Trailblaze, really, really good. It means if you get an energy lead, like for example this lead right here, this is on Mud Slap, right? If I get energy lead, I can either go for close combats or of course double super effective Trailblazes. Same thing with Gastrodon, so like that's the really cool thing about this. Jellicent, one of the main counters people are using in this meta to Jellicent is Gastrodon with Shadow Claw. Jellicent has a very fine matchup into that, and even against things like Ferrothorn, if you're up a shield you straight up win that match. If you're up some energy you can win that match as well. After you land a Shadow Ball, you can start hexing it into Surf range, and you can start outpacing Ferrothorn. So Jellicent in itself is a very anti-RPS Pokemon. Gastrodon up energy, and if you bait the moves, you can actually beat Ferrothorn with it. So all 3 of these Pokemon have a lot of play into their counters. Even a very, very terrible matchup with Gastrodon, which would be Golisopod. If you land an Earth Power, you can start threatening Body Slams. And of course, like I said, Mud Slap is kind of a busted move, right? So yeah, we do the thing here. I'm expecting the opponent to have Grass Knot. We go ahead and respect it, and we'll see what the opponent's got in the back. They've got Lucario in the back. So the opponent, in fairness, are running very, very ABA weak to ground. Not really what I would recommend in this meta, but this is working out perfectly for me here. They go for Thunder Punch. We do the BM catch, which was completely unnecessary. The opponent concedes the match, and we take that game. Hopping into the next one, we have a Macargo lead. Very terrible lead, into the Jellicent. The opponent's actually staying into chip here. So what I've noticed is, sometimes when you safe swap Jellicent, if the opponent's main answer to Jellicent is Golisopod, they'll actually stay in here, go for a chip with their lead Pokemon, try to make it more manageable. So yeah, in comes the Golisopod. We're going to go for Shadow Ball. I'm expecting this to go through, as the opponent has debuffed my attack. That gets them down to about 50% health. However, the really bad thing about this is, they're up to over 10 Shadow Claws here. So, this is not looking too good actually. I'm not sure if I can still win this, because you would think with Macargo lead, they should have still 2 hard answers to the Gastrodon, right? This is their first hard answer. We're forced to catch a move. The opponent actually makes it to 3 moves in this matchup. So the way I've played this so far, it somehow hasn't worked out. The opponent comes into Jellicent, and this will be basically game over here. They can look to go for a Surf. Oh, they go for Shadow Ball anyway, so it doesn't even matter. That will basically knock out, and I think we don't have any win conditions at this point. They let the move go here. We can farm it all the way down, not before taking another Surf, and that is absolute curtains. So what happens in these cups here is sometimes you find a team, it's really difficult for you to beat. What you have to do if you want to be successful in Go Battle League, especially in these limited cups, is try to figure out a way to beat these bad teams. We're going to face that team later on in the video, and I have come up with a better way to play it, so we'll see if that works out a little bit better. Golisopod lead, they do win the 0 shield, 1 shield, 2 shield. They basically win every shielding scenario. Not only that, they catch the move in Klefki here, which is a little bit of insult to injury. So we've taken a lot of damage, the opponent's still very healthy, and they're drawing out the Gastrodon. I'm assuming they have something else weak in the back, so this is probably not looking too good for me here at this point. The opponent most likely will come back into Golisopod, very good answer to the Gastrodon. I always go for Earth Power here first because you can get a debuff, and also it does more damage than a Body Slam. As you're seeing here, after landing that Earth Power, this Body Slam's becoming quite threatening. The opponent shields, I come in to try and force the energy, and I'm hoping that's good enough at this point. As you know, Jellicent resists all of the charge moves here. We're up a shield with Jelly. I'm expecting it to be maybe like a Mawile or something in the back, like double steal. It is actually double steal, it's Lucario in the back. Now, whenever you're playing at the 1 shield scenario, which the opponent most likely will do here, you can just go straight for Surf. Surf plus Hexes will be enough to win this matchup for you. Thunder Punch comes in, we respect it, probably being the hardest hitting, it definitely will be the hardest hitting move. We resist all of Golisopod's moves here. That doesn't quite KO. I wasn't sure if it was 4-3 or 4-4 to Thunder Punch. It is straight 4 to Thunder Punch, and it is 6 to an Aura Sphere or a Shadow Ball. Good games all played. I'm going to show this team once. This is Double Fighter. If you get a Lucario safe swap, you come into Gastrodon. If you get a Poliwrath safe swap, you come into Jellicent. It's as simple as that. If you want to beat this team, they actually built up to 6, so we respect it, like I said. That's all you have to do to beat this team. In this case now, it's actually double steal, but this is perfectly fine. We get neutral Earth Power off on the Furthorn here. I think the opponent probably should have let that go, because, well, I guess we do make 2, so it doesn't really matter. They have to let this one go. Bang! That does a lot of damage, so I do understand why the opponent would respect that. And that's what I mean about Gastrodon. Up shields, up energy. If you land one of those moves, or even if you're able to bait Body Slams on this, you're able to do a lot of work into the Furthorn. We let the Power Whip go, the opponent goes for the second one here, and we will look to respect it. I think we're in a much better position here. I can look to basically anticipate the swap, not throw right away, and we're going to go for Trailblaze on the opposing Jellicent. Now what I'm going to do here is, because I don't want to get myself into Shadow Ball range with my own Jelly, I'm going to force the opponent to take me out. These Shadow Claws are going to do so much damage, the opponent basically has to throw a move, otherwise they get farmed down. They can see the match here, and that's good games. Once again, we get a Golisopod lead. This probably plays out a little bit differently. The opponent actually just lets me throw here, which is quite interesting. So I think there's a couple of ways you can play this matchup out. You can catch on 5. I would say 90% of the time, the opponent throws on 5. So you could go for that, make a catch on Jellicent, come out with the energy with Berserker, and try to use it to beat the Golisopod later. You can stay in, play at the 0 shield scenario, take the first move, throw a Trailblaze, and then look to swap out into Jellicent after that. Oftentimes you get a shield or heavy damage, either of which is basically fine for the Jellicent. We get a Simul KO in the Cordeli. Like I said, it's a grass type versus a water. We're still getting a Simul KO and making the match really close. The switch clock comes down, I click Gastrodon last second, and we do end up making a catch. This is game over at this point. Because we've gotten this Pokemon so low, basically we can mud slap it all the way down. If the opponent makes any moves here, with the Golisopod, these are the moves that we want to shield. We know there's a Macargo in the back, we can just basically decide which moves are going to be the hardest hitting at this point. Now Gastrodon is double super effective into Macargo. As you can see, these mud slaps are absolutely obliterating it. We don't need to throw a move. Whenever you're in these scenarios, you just go for the full farm down. Unless the opponent learned Solar Beam yesterday, I think we're fine in that matchup. And once again, we do get a Jellicent lead. I guess I do show another Jellicent lead. So sometimes actually the opponents stay in, and they do this very often actually. I've started shielding this move, but again, it's sort of preference, right? You can take a Surf, Sometimes I do decide to shield this. The opponent's actually shielding the whole way through this, and they do go for a catch in fair form. That's not looking too hot for them, man. We get off this move right here. This close combat will one-shot the fair form, and they do shield it, not knowing that I'm at a second move. We're going to go straight for this, and I think we're very, very happy at this point. We've drawn out the grass type. We're going to come back into our jelly. We do end up catching a move here. I do my pants because I thought they might have seen the swap. They do see the swap. They go for Shadow Ball, but because we shielded it, the opponent concedes the match at that point. So very good games well played, and in the next one, a negative lead in Magnezone. Magnezone can basically beat us in all even shields, especially because they're going to look to go for a bait. Now the opponent doesn't throw straight away, giving us a shield advantage. And I tried to swap into Gastrodon. If you look back at that, I tried to swap mid Volt Switch, meaning that I would have snuck a move through, and that does double super effective damage to Magnezone. I was kind of hoping that the opponent would full send, and I could sneak through the Mud Slap there. That would have been much better for me. So that's something that you can always keep in mind if you're facing against Magnezone. Swapping mid animation, then going for Mud Slap is a really kind of good strategy against it. We get off a last second move of Gastrodon. As I mentioned, this Pokemon is kind of busted, even against its worst of counters. It's still doing this kind of stuff right here. I decided to respect this move. I do need the Berserker to take out the opposing Magnezone, and at this point, we're going to look to farm up some energy. If the Magnezone comes in, I believe they have to go for the big move here. So what I'm going to do here is take the Wild Charge. We're going to come into Gastrodon and get a massive Mud Slap free. We actually get one turn bring in, but that's fine. And we are able to hex it all the way down. With an Electric lead, we should be fine. The opponent comes into Jellicent here. However, I don't think we win this game. I guess I left this in by mistake. I don't think we win this game because we die to a Shadow Ball. So pretty unfortunate. I guess if the swap happened the way that I wanted it to, we would have won that game because the Magnezone basically would have been dead at that point. We would have got an extra Mud Slap through onto it. So that's pretty unfortunate. Good games well played. Hopping straight into the next one here, we have another Gastrodon lead. We're going to go to Jellicent here. Jellicent draws out the opposing Fortress. If they're in Volt Switch, go for 5 and throw for good timing here. And we'll see what the opponent wants to do. Surf comes in. Oftentimes they do shield that. You sort of do need 2 moves to KO with this thing anyway. Like one Shadow Ball from full health does the trick. But generally speaking, if they Rock Tomb, yeah, that's kind of the way to go. Since the opponent let that move go, I'll let this go as well. We do survive a Rock Tomb. Unfortunately, we don't quite make that move, but we will be able to load up with the Berserker here at this point. Now, it's 5 to the Earthquake, 4 to Rock Tomb. The opponent full sends the Earthquake, which is amazing for me, and we get a massive farm down. Once again, you're seeing this matchup again. Berserker versus the Gastrodon up energy. We go for Trailblaze number 1, the opponent lets it through. We come into our Gastrodon, the opponent brings in Magnezone, and that's good games well played. That is the power of Berserker in this cup, and that's why I highly recommend running Trailblaze and Close Combat. Even though the moves are quite expensive, they offer so much flexibility, and it's basically, like I said, an anti-RPS pick. Having that sort of flexibility, being able to come into Jellicent, Gastrodon, being able to get shields down or shield advantage with these Pokemon, and then looking to full send close combats or Trailblazes on Mudboys, it worked out super well for me. This is a really terrible matchup. In this lead, you could try to call the move. These opponents with this stupid Pokemon, man, they just beat everything. Even though they just win straight Wild Charge, they just beat everything, right? That's just how they play this. Once again, because we're double super effective into this, we always want to try to sneak a move with Gastrodon where possible. We do sneak it, and we do draw out the Golisopod. I decided to go straight for Body Slam because I don't want the opponent to get out of here without taking any damage from the Gastro. The opponent is feeling the need to throw the move, and I guess we have to be pretty much happy with that at this point. I do have a little bit of energy in the Berserker, however, so does the Golisopod, right? So I don't think I really want to take this damage. And also, the opponent has, not a Morpeko, a fucking Togedemaru in the lead. So we're going to stay in here. We're going to look to go for as many moves as we possibly can here. Try to build up as much energy as we can before we get out of here. And then maybe look to go for a double surf here, see if the opponent wants to shield. They can't really shield at this point, and they can't really bring in the Togedemaru because we just farm it down. Unfortunately, the opponent comes into Gator, and I'm an insta-throwing Andy. And we do go for this move right here. We do still have energy, like I said, and at this point, we're going to go straight for the Trailblaze. Now, we just have to be careful for the catch here. The catch would basically win the game for the opponent. The opponent gets to the first one here. This is always a tricky situation whenever it's getting this close. Okay, I pause the turn, make sure the opponent doesn't catch, and we should be winning this game at this point. They can come in with Togedemaru. Yeah, they can farm us down, unfortunately for them. That one Mud Slap done a lot of damage to them. You can see how low they got, and in the next one, another negative lead. Now, what I started doing with poly leads is because sometimes they have Ludicolo in the back. I started coming into Jellicent safe swap, like go to your direct answer. In this match, we do end up coming into the Gastrodon, and they made us with a Ferrothorn. Now, you're about to see the power of Gastrodon against this Pokemon. It's kind of dumb. We go for the bait. We're going to shield the Power Whip, which the opponent, of course, would never really expect, because this should be a hard RPS matchup. Now, at this point, I build up to 1 bait plus 1 move. I decide to full send, thinking that the opponent will call it. They do call it, and we do take swap against the Poliwrath. Unfortunately, don't reach the earth power. I go for to and fro, which is a little bit bad timing, but we only get off one move here. We get through the body slam. However, we've got the hardest answer in the meta to this thing, and the opponent's actually staying in to go for an Icy Wind, which is good for me here. They go for Icy Wind, and they come into Gastrodon. Not really what I want to see here. Can we get off a move? We do get off a move. I'm not sure what the timing was like there. I think it was okay. I think we might have given away one turn. This is still looking... Oh, they actually throw a move. Wait. The opponent throws a move here. This could be huge for me. We come in. We do need... I think from here we still need 2 Surfs. Generally speaking, from full health, you need 2 Surfs in this matchup. I think I make a mistake and go for the Shadow Ball here. I think had we went for 2 Surfs, we might have been fine. However, oh wait, can we farm it down? No, unfortunately not. Double Surf is the way to win this match. The kind of tricky thing is, we do need to commit with energy for Poly because they will make a move. And because it's Shadow, the counter damage will be somewhat noticeable. So yeah, unfortunately, unable to win that game. But, you know, of course, I'm saying this is an anti-RPS team. You can't win every single battle, it's just impossible, right? Like, you will get RPS in this comp, it's the nature of the beast in this comp. Caesar lead, a very terrible lead once again, and we're going to see if we can do something against it. They're on Bullet Punch here, which is slightly worse pacing, and in this matchup I decide to take the move. Ordinarily, I think if they're on Fury Cutter, I would probably shield here, just try to Trailblaze through them. Do we make the move? We don't make the move, but we do get them extremely low. We're up a shield, we come into Gastrodon, and we're going to look to respect the Trailblaze. I am expecting the opponent to have some answers to Gaster in the back, and here comes one of them. Thankfully though, it's on Fury Cutter, so we completely resist everything in this matchup. Now, I almost threw the move straight away, but I recognise at this point, they're just throwing resisted moves, right? I might as well build up some extra energy. The opponent's basically dry here at this point. It's 10 Fury Cutters to the move. We build up to 100 energy, and we're going to look to throw off the Shadow Ball here. Caesar's very, very low. We do actually get an extra Hex in here, which is beautiful, and we'll see what the opponent comes into. They come into their own Jellicent. I pause, make sure I throw the correct move here. We go for this right here. Come into the Gastrodon, which actually still does make a move here. Anticipating the catch, I go for the extra move. We do survive any one move. I'm expecting them to go for Double Surf, which is what the opponent's trying to do here. They get off a Night Slash, which I knew, of course, the opponent would be able to make. So yeah, we do decide to just kind of keep the shield here. Now we're up to basically almost 2 Earth Powers. If you get up to 100 energy, you should be 1 Mud Slap away from the next Earth Power. In this situation, the opponent's forced to go for an Overfarm. I've got my own Jellicent in the back. They need to get some energy basically from my Jellicent plus the Gastrodon. So yeah, good games all played there. Negative lead, once again. Some pretty negative matchups, but we're able to take some sort of an advantage there. And as you can see, we're over 2200 elo. So guys, the video is coming full circle. We're getting this lead once again. We do the exact same thing. We come into Jellicent. We throw the move first, so we get a shield advantage off the rip here. Now last time, I decided to let this move go. What I decide to do this time is shield the Rock Tomb. The opponent's doing this for a reason. They know that the Gliscopod's not good here. So by doing this, it means the Gliscopod cannot farm us down anymore. And because of that, we're going to get way less energy, and we should be able to get the opponent lower here, even just by going for a Surf here at this point. So yeah, I'm really happy with this now. They go for Aqua Jet number 1, a CMPB on this second Aqua Jet, and at this point, the opponent's dry. So we can even come in with Berserker, right? Farm this the whole way down, we can take the move, shield the move. I decide to shield, because I want to be able to be healthy enough to get off 2 close combats on the flippin' Macargo. The opponent comes back into Macargo. They go for an Incinerate here. They're actually 1 off the Rock Tomb here. I go for this, go for to and fro, but the opponent makes a really nice catch on Jellicent. A little bit unfortunate here. I decide to farm up a little bit extra. We actually just about make the move at the end, and I think we're basically fine here. Knowing that I've got the Gastrodon for the opposing Macargo, I'm not really too worried about this. I'm really happy we can get that move off. The opponent goes for Shadow Ball, we farm it all the way down. Ideally, the opponent does not catch that move, you get off 2 close combats and you just win. But in this case, the opponent does make a catch. Thankfully though, Berserker was still healthy enough to get off a move. We Earth Power the Macargo, and that's good games well played. Guys, I hope you all enjoyed the video. If you did, drop a like, it's really helpful for these videos. Helps push the content out there. Big thank you, very much appreciate all the support on the channel. Thank you everybody who tunes into the streams. My wife is actually away to Taiwan, so I'm not streaming for a couple of days here. I'm just kind of hanging out with the kids and stuff like that, so yeah, hopefully you guys don't miss me too much. But either way, I'll be uploading this today. I done some battles off stream with a really interesting team, including Berserker on the safe swap, so definitely stay tuned for that tomorrow. I think with that team, right, so I won 3 battles in a row one set. I would have won 5-0, however the game completely lagged out, I couldn't tap anything, so that should have been a 5-0. The second set, and in the third set, I misplayed a battle, and I ended up going 3-2. It was a really strong team. I was on a pretty high win streak, like a 7 or 8 win streak with that team, so stay tuned for that tomorrow as well. If you're interested in getting coaching in Go Battle League, I do offer it in the description down below. I'm doing 25% off for June here, so if you want to get some coaching for a lower price, feel free to check out the coaching Discord in the description. And of course, we do have a public Discord where I hang out in there sometimes. Some people do streams, so by all means, join that if you're interested. Big thank you everybody, hope you all enjoyed the video. Have a fantastic rest of your day, and I'll catch you all next time.